Hello, friends. Welcome back to America's Pop Culture channel. And I am so grateful to have been able to witness the performance between Tracy Chapman and Luke Combs. Can I just tell you that it was so amazing? Fast Car is such a staple, right? It's one of those songs that just moves you to tears almost, right? With Tracy's soulful voice. And I love Luke's rendition of it. So she made an appearance and just completely stole the show at the Grammys. So Rolling Stone writes, Tracy Chapman's Grammys appearance was the event of the night. Here's how it happened. After months of discussions and planning, Chapman and Luke Combs finally got together in LA to rehearse Fast Car just 5 days before the awards. It was the first time they had met. Wow. Tracy Chapman may keep a remarkably low profile, but she doesn't live in a vacuum. The singer-songwriter was well aware of the success that Luke Combs' cover of her song Fast Car was having last year. After it won two big awards at the Country Music Association Awards in November, she decided to call him. It was a private conversation, just as Chapman and Combs on the line for about 30 minutes, but it helped plant the seeds for one of the all-time best collaborations in Grammy history. And that's huge, right? Coming from Rolling Stone. On February 4th, the 59-year-old folk singer and the 33-year-old country star performed Fast Car together on stage at the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, just 5 days before the two songwriters had met in person for the first time. But according to the interviews with reps for both artists, the Recording Academy, Sony Music Nashville, and the Grammy producers, even then, with Chapman Combs and the band practicing Fast Car in a rehearsal studio in LA, it seemed hard to believe that the televised performance was actually happening. They had every reason to wonder. Chapman hadn't given a concert in 15 years. Her last TV performance was in 2015 on The Late Show with David Letterman. She also sent in a pre-taped performance to Seth Meyers during the 2020 election run-up. And she declined all the interviews requesting the 2023 resurgence of Fast Car, a song first released in 1988. So when her song Fast Car won a country music award for Song of the Year, she was the first Black songwriter to win the award, and she sent brief remarks to be read on stage. Even for this story, she deferred to her friend Matthew Rankin to communicate for her. It was a long process, but it was definitely our dream, Grammy executive producer Raj Kapoor said, securing Chapman's appearance on the show. Working alongside of the executive producer Patrick Minton, they first hatched the idea of a Fast Car duet last May, but tracking down Chapman, who has no publicist and remains under the radar in San Francisco, it wasn't going to be easy. As it turns out, Combs' publicist Carla Sachs had a 2-decade relationship with Rankin, and she helped connect the Grammy producers with Team Tracy. In the summer of 2023, they called Rankin to gauge Chapman's interest in a possible return to the Grammy stage, 35 years after she won Best New Artist. No one really knew how to reach her. It was just like pure magic, that I know, Sachs says. I knew the doorbell to ring. And quite frankly, I think that made it very helpful to not be reaching out as a stranger and to be able to open the line of communication. By the time the producers connected with Chapman, Luke Combs' version of Fast Car was on its way to spending 5 consecutive weeks at the #1 spot on the Billboard Country Airplay chart and was weeks away from topping the Hot Country Song survey. It was hovering around #2 on the all genre Hot 100 charts. Wow, that's impressive. It was an undisputed crossover juggernaut, and it would earn Combs a Grammy nomination for Best Country Solo Performance when the nominees were announced in November. Minton says that Chapman's team expressed immediate interest during the initial call, but he and Kapoor weren't looking for an answer just yet. I said to Raj before we got on, let's not do this like any other call. In fact, don't give us an answer. We asked Matthew, just take this back to Tracy, let her live in her space. Let her think about this creatively and what it could be, and when you're ready, come back to us. Shortly after the new year, the producers got the confirmation they were hoping for, that Tracy Chapman was in. Fast Car, the duet, was a go. It felt like a long yes, Kapoor says. It never felt like a no or a maybe. They said, we agree, let's take our time and walk through this. Let's make sure this is what we all want it to be. Rankin says having that time to ruminate on the decision was key. When Tracy and I first discussed this opportunity, we realized it represented a moment of confluence coming 35 years to the month since Tracy first performed Fast Car at the Grammys, and following a year of such success for Luke with her song. He says, Chris Chappie, or Cappy, Combs' longtime manager who first recorded his client singing Fast Car in a hotel room in Rome, Georgia back in 2015 to Post, then the aspiring country singer's Vine account. Wow, you guys remember Vine? I'm sorry, that took me back. Vine was like the predecessor to TikTok. Combs was keen to do the Grammy performance with Chapman from the get-go, but it was a big ask, and it was such a pipe dream that we really didn't think it was going to happen. So Cappy says that when Combs learned that Chapman was on board, he asked that she have full creative control of the performance, despite it being billed by the Grammys as an appearance by Combs in an attempt to keep Chapman's cameo a surprise. Oh, that's sweet. Luke wanted to give Tracy every opportunity to shine. Absolutely. He said, this is your song, and this is an opportunity for us to be a part of it. According to Rankin, Chapman wanted to use specific musicians in the band, including drummer Denny Fogheiser and bassist Larry Klein, who played on the original recording, Fast Car. She also chose her longtime band members Larry Campbell on the fiddle and guitarist Joe Gore. Cappy says that when she asked Combs if the utility player in his group, Kurt Orson, would handle the pedal steel, with the musicians set, Combs and Chapman began the rehearsals. Kapoor and Minton, having adequate time to practice the song, said it was one of Chapman's most important requests. The one thing that was really mentioned was that there was enough time to rehearse, for both artists to come together and have enough time to explore and to play through it. There's a lot of different things on our shows, on our sets, production, visuals, but ultimately, this performance was all about the music and the song. On January 31st, Chapman, Combs, and the band convened in the studio in Los Angeles to work up an arrangement, but the rehearsal was pivotal for another reason. 3 months after their first phone call, the two songwriters would finally be in the same room together. The first day of rehearsals was an event in and of itself and an emotional moment. It was the first time Tracy and Luke had met in person. It was the first time in many years Tracy had seen some of the people. The musicians were supported by key people behind the scenes, including David Kasherbaum, who produced Tracy's debut album, and together the collective experience and talent present in that room created a unique and beautiful new version of the beloved song. Chapman and Combs spent 20 minutes catching up and talking about music before they started their first run through a Fast Car. Chapman's the one that led the rehearsals, 2 hours on Wednesday and 4 on Thursday. She had a vision, and she asked Luke his thoughts, and then they kept running through it and kept running through it. It was a fun way to watch two artists create the moment that we all had together at the Grammys. I think this is such a beautiful way to honor an amazing woman, songwriter, and artist. I'm so glad to see them together. And when they took the stage in front of millions on Sunday night, Chapman was dressed in a custom Prada shirt designed specifically for her. And they both look great. The song's famous guitar intro kicked off. and the rest was history. I will link this article from Rolling Stone so you guys can read it all the way through. But they definitely created magic that night, and I love seeing them perform. I hope that we see Tracy perform much more often if she chooses to, right? If she chooses her privacy, we completely understand. And we're so glad that she blessed us with Fast Car and that Luke continues to carry the torch. You guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Were you able to see it? Did you feel that magic that we all felt from Tracy and Luke? Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.